Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Ishal Fatima
And my name is Nehal Fatima.
and welcome to E&A Islamic Stories.
Today we'll be saying the story of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. So, let's start from the beginning on how the people of Nuh became idol worshippers, or how Muslims became idol worshippers in the first place. In the beginning, all of Adam's descendants and everything, they were all Muslims. And they loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Shaitan was very angry of this, and angry because of this, because he wanted to lead them into hellfire with him. So he thought of a clever plan to divert their attention from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Shaitan went to the people while they were grieving about a righteous person's loss. Shaitan asked them, the people, did you love this person very much? They would say, yes, he was a righteous person. And he loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they said, and then Shaitan would say, do you want to see this person? And then the people would say, how? And he's already passed away. Shaitan would say, then draw a picture of him. Draw a photo, picture. And so they did. And they stuck it at home, stuck it at the masjid. But it was not for worship purposes. It was just to remember them, since they were righteous people, like an example for them. So, after a while, the pictures became statues, like carvings of these people. But they did not worship them. They still only did for remembrance purposes, only to remember them as an example. Like this person loved Allah so much, we should love Allah and be a good Muslim like this person. As time passed, some people believed that the presence of the person was inside a statue, and if they would respect that statue and bow down to them, they would get blessings from the statue. And so they did. But the later generations, they thought, why am I saw my parents I saw my parents bowing down to these statues and respecting them. So maybe if I worship them and if I seek refuge in them, maybe they will answer my prayers. So they started praying to these statues and praying and giving offerings, and then the statue became an idol. And that is how the people, instead of worshiping Allah, they started worshiping idols. And later generations, it started becoming more and more, they started worshiping idols more, and they started to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And then they completely forgot Allah was even there, and they thought the only gods were the idols themselves. So Allah knew that He had to send down someone to correct their mistakes and lead them back to the right path. So Allah wanted to send down someone who was a human, so they could have like the same bond between them and Allah. So He chose Prophet Nuh alayhi salam because he was a righteous man. So Prophet Nuh alayhi salam started to preach to the people, and they the day that he started preaching to them, the people were like, oh, yesterday you were a person just like us, and today you're a messenger of God. You were playing and sleeping with us when we were young, and now you're a messenger? Why couldn't Allah choose anyone else but you? Why are you the one who He chose? And why you are so poor and I'm rich? Why isn't it me who is the messenger, not you? Why is it you, not me? And the arrogant people would say, why is it not an angel? Why is it you? You're just a human being like us. Why are you the messenger, not an angel? So there's a lot of different thoughts the people had, and so the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, because he was so patient, he told them that Allah had chosen him, and that they should only worship one God, not the many idols that they had. And Allah would get upset with them if they associated partners with Him, or if they didn't worship at all and started worshiping the idols instead. So He told them that they should worship one God, not many. So then the people would say, well, why should we believe in this new religion? We want to continue our religion that our forefathers did. And their forefathers, and then Nuh alayhi salam thought himself, because their forefathers had made a mistake. It wasn't a true religion that they were following. So Nuh alayhi salam told them about this, and then he would, for 950 years, he would preach them. He would be publicly preach them, privately preach them. They would preach at home. He would preach in the market. He would try to preach individually, and they were so stubborn and so arrogant. The moment they saw him coming, they would get a cloth, cover their head, so Prophet couldn't see them, and they couldn't call him to Islam, and they would cover their ears. And then it's a very valid point, because how could they know about Islam if they were covering their ears and not hearing any about the information that Prophet was telling them? So they wouldn't be able to hear about it. So then one day, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, he was praying and making a dua to Allah to make sure the number of disbelievers didn't increase. And then Allah sent down a message down to him saying that the amount of believers would not increase, and the amount of believers already there, that would be it. So Prophet Nuh got upset, because he was working so hard for them to become believe in Allah, and they were not accepting a single word that he was saying. So Nuh alayhi salam told them to punish them, every disbeliever. So, and Allah accepted. So Allah decided on the punishment. The punishment was to completely flood all the disbelievers. But Allah wanted to keep the believers and Prophet Nuh alayhi salam safe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nuh alayhi salam to build an ark, a huge ship. And when Nuh alayhi salam started building it, the people were like, "Oh Nuh, when have you become a carpenter? We told you to stay away from them, but you have become a carpenter now?" And they also said, "Why are you building a boat so far from sea? Is it going to climb? Is the boat going to climb a mountain? Is it going to swim through the sand?" But Prophet Nuh alayhi salam stayed patient and continued building the boat. When the boat was finished, Allah gave Nuh alayhi salam the next command, which was that he must when The sign came.
yes,
Allah would send down a sign, and when that sign came, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam would gather all the animals, one male and one female of every animal, and all the believers and the believers from his family to the ship. So soon he saw the sign, the sign was that water started coming from his oven. So the rain, it was very, very heavy, and the water was coming from the ground and from the oven. So the water was rapidly increasing. So Nuh alayhi salam followed Allah's command, took all the pair of one male and one female from all the animal and all the bird species, got them to the boat. All the believers got them to the boat. And while Nuh alayhi salam was doing this, all the disbelievers, they were trying to escape the water by climbing up mountains. And his son was trying to do the same thing. So Prophet Nuh alayhi salam told him, "Come with me, come join the believers so you don't drown." And his son was very arrogant, saying, "Oh, I'll be safe on the mountain." And not a second passed after he said that. And the moment he said it, a wave went over him and he drowned right in front of Nuh alayhi salam's eyes. So Nuh alayhi salam asked Allah a question, because Allah said that he would protect his family, who was the believers. But then Allah told him that his son was not a believer, and therefore Allah would not save him. He was a disbeliever just like the rest of the disbelievers, and he would be killed just the same way. So Prophet Nuh alayhi salam repented for his mistake, and Allah accepted. And Allah told him, "Do not question what you do not know." Prophet Nuh alayhi salam realized his mistake, so he asked for forgiveness. It rained for days and nights until all the disbelievers were wiped out of earth. And the earth was completely flooded, the entire earth, filled with water. And once all the disbelievers have died, the rain stopped. And the ark, the huge ship, it landed peacefully on Mount Judi. And
Prophet Nuh alayhi salam got off the boat safely, and so did the believers and the animals. And then soon later, the believers went to different parts of the earth and started new families,
New life almost.
yes, but to this day, there are still disbelievers.
Who are idol worshippers after all this time. So idol worshipping is the second oldest religion in the world, and it's one of the worst religions because you're associating partners with Allah or believing statues made by humans, which is not Allah. So you're eating the food that Allah provided you, you're living on the home that Allah provided you, yet you're not believing in Allah Himself, which makes Allah very angry.
Because if you look at the world and its mysteries and everything, it all leads to one God, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So from this story of Nuh alayhi salam, we realize that we can learn that if we are patient, Allah will have mercy on us, and Allah will, if we make dua, Allah will accept it, and Allah would very much favor us.
So,
Assalamualaikum.